I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're bridging the worlds of science, faith, and philosophy with Richard Penner, author of Life as I Know It, A Biologist's View of the World. In this thought-provoking book, Richard shares insights into humanity's evolution, the role of religion, and what it truly means to be alive today. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Bookside Press for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Richard, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Yes, I'm glad to be here myself.
You bridge an important gap, that between science and faith. How do you reconcile the two? Is it simple? Is there some philosophy behind it, reason? Tell us a little bit about how you reconcile the two.
Well, a little word of history is important here. I think, when the Renaissance started and the uh, Galileo and James Watt and Darwin and all those people that started the intellectual revolution, humanity waking up, most of them were religious people. They were in our case, in the West, they were Christians, but the Muslims were very active in intellectual pursuit as well. In fact, they were ahead of us for a while they inhabited Spain and part of France, and we can witness some of the glory of their architecture in Cordoba and different cities in Spain. And people don't know maybe that the word algebra is a Arabic word, not a Latin word.
Hmm.
So the people who started all this intellectual revolution were actually religious people. They believed that there was a God, that there was a God behind all this. They they probably couldn't articulate it very well. It was more of a cultural kind of thing that maybe some of them inherited in a way. They just assumed that it was there. They never really questioned it, I think.
Hmm.
And then there was later on, as education became more widespread and higher educate universities came into being and so on. I think it was Descartes in France who started questioning the existence of God, and that we really didn't need that kind of spiritual aspect in order to make all these discoveries.
Hmm.
We were doing it anyway, whether you were a Christian or not. And so then I think this separation started. And we are in a time now where actually there is a separation. And there are conditions existing in some of the best universities in the world. I know of a professor at Cambridge University in the UK, Rupert Sheldrake, who says that his professors, when he was a student there, they were ashamed to even bring up anything about the spirit. I mean, that was voodoo. That was
Hmm.
just didn't fit in a university setting.
Yeah.
The same person now, Rupert Sheldrake, is a pretty well-known biologist in the world, and he's written some books, and there are YouTubes on him. And I have a connection with him uh, for some reason, and he he used to say, when I went to an international convention, like of some subject, you know, physics or chemistry or something like that, nobody ever talked to him. He's a Christian.
Mhm.
and he's not ashamed of it. He says people would be ashamed. They wouldn't bring it up. Now, he says the last 5 to 10 years, there are very well-known intellectual giants in our world today who, after the meetings are over and they look both ways to make sure nobody's watching, they ask him questions
Hmm.
about the forces at work that we cannot explain, you know?
Yeah. It's
And
It's interesting. I actually asked ChatGPT the other day if creationism is as logical of an explanation for the creation of the universe and the cosmos as is the Big Bang Theory. And
yeah,
ChatGPT said, yes, they're both compelling.
no
And
kidding.
yeah, one is as valid as the other because they're both theories. So I thought that was interesting. Let me ask you, why did you write Life as I Know It? What is the inspiration behind it?
Well, some of it has to do with what we just spoke about. To me, the things that I've discovered in biology, my field is biology, all it does is increase my belief. It doesn't decrease it.
Hmm.
And
Agreed.
a lot of scientists are not surprised anymore when they come up, when they figure something out. We have new machinery and new sensitive materials and so on that we can do investigation and they come up with all kinds of bizarre new things. And it used to be they were so surprised. Now they're not surprised anymore.
Hmm.
They accept that there's stuff going on that we just don't understand.
Yeah.
And the word, what's the word? Empirical.
Mhm.
Empirical evidence. We can't explain the reasons for it, but nobody argues that it exists. It's like gravity. They can't really explain gravity. They don't really know what it is.
Right.
But there isn't anybody that would suggest that gravity doesn't exist, you know. And my feeling is that way.
Yeah.
I think every time I read about something dramatic, I figure, well, these are our laws and systems that were put in place at the Big Bang. And if you want to call it God, fine. If you want to call it something else, go ahead.
Yeah.
But
And then, of
it's,
course, there's always the question, what was before the Big Bang? What
well, that's the
existed out
thing.
there? Yeah.
And nobody can explain that.
Right.
All of a sudden we have helium and hydrogen, and they
Where they
know that.
come, where these
Where did
elements
that
come
come
from.
from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If you keep on going back, after a while, you have to throw up your hands. I don't know. And that's what
Yeah.
it comes down to. There is a mystery to life that we don't quite understand. And faith really does fill the gaps of our
Yeah, I think so.
incapacity to understand, right?
Your question was, why did I write this book? Well, at first I wrote it for the rest of my family and relatives, young people, mostly young people that I had my mind on who, and I explained that at the beginning of the book in the introduction, how it used to be that several generations were living together, and this kind of communication
Hmm.
between grandpa and grandson or granddaughter was automatic because they lived together.
Hmm.
Now they don't. And we have to make an effort, I think, as the elderly people in our clan to make sure that our young people in the family understand what it is that we've been doing and what conclusions we've come to and so on. And that's really was the purpose of my book. I gave it to my nephew
Hmm.
as a rough draft. He's a lawyer in Vancouver,
Hmm.
and he said, Richard, you should write this, expand on it, make a book out of it, because I know a lot of my friends would be interested in this. So that's what I did. And that's what is the purpose of it.
Well, wonderful. I think you've succeeded in your purpose in helping people understand life as you know it. And the way you know life is a truly unique and wonderful way of knowing life. It is called, the name of the book, of course, is Life as I Know It, a biologist's view of the world. It is a thought-provoking book, and in it, Richard shares insights into humanity's evolution, the role of religion, and what it truly means to Be Alive Today. It is packed with compelling stories and scientific wisdom, and this book challenges readers to embrace new perspectives and reflect on their own beliefs. Richard, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Okay. You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed talking to you as well. I appreciate it. To the folks at
Bye.
home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.